I've been in the business since '96, but I was on the mortgage side before,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I got my license about 3 years ago, and I haven't done what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what I have to do.
And what is that
But
you're not doing that you're supposed to be
well, I
doing?
mean, just I haven't put the time and energy. I've sort of been burnt out. I've had
Okay.
that burnout bug. Just um,
From
I'm not
mortgage or from real estate?
both, because I mean,
Okay.
I with real estate, I mean, I was just on the other side. It's still, stressful, and I mean, you got to do a lot of the similar things.
Yeah.
Um, Dealing with public, I mean, that's always fun. So,
Mhm.
but and when I got into this, I was a friend of mine that used to work with me at the mortgage company. She that I got into the mortgage business. She came and worked for me. She wanted me to come work with her, and because I've been good at lead generation and niche lead generation, so I was doing that for her. So I was trying to build a business to basically get leads for other realtors,
Okay.
work on some, and then pass it off at a certain point and just get up. It's basically a referral business, but
Okay.
just depending on when I'm having a problem trying to figure out, when to pass it off, and the commission splits, because obviously realtors think that they need all the commission, and they don't realize that it does take time to generate leads and
Mhm.
cost and time, energy, and
Mhm.
effort. As
Mhm.
soon as you give it to them, they act as if, they're going to do all the work. And so that's been a little bit of a frustration.
Okay.
They either got to do it themselves or they got to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
So where are you at with that part of your business?
As far as
The whole
lead
lead
gen.
gen, passing stuff
Uh,
off. You said you don't know
well,
when to pass them off. Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm focusing right now on expired um, FISBOs and off market.
Okay.
And my data, I'm really wanting to hit my database, trying to figure
Okay.
that out, segment that, and consistently give them good information on a consistent basis. Not trying to overwhelm them.
Okay.
Give them something, and when they're ready, hopefully, I'll be the one that they want to reach back out to.
Do you have any program for that yet?
I've got some. Uh, I've got HomeBot.
Okay.
Is something I do have. I've got KV Core, and then I also use um, a it's called Go High Level. I don't know if you've heard of that CRM.
Mhm. Mhm.
More for
What do you
marketers.
what are you hitting them with though? So I know what HomeBot, so that's phenomenal because that's actually really great value with a really high
Yeah,
open rate. So that's
yeah.
phenomenal to have them on. What are you hitting them with on the other?
Just doing um, email, and just trying to call them and touch base. Well, on the FISBOs, it's just trying to contact them each week or every day,
Mhm.
and the expireds. I mean, but I'm trying to be more unique. Just not. I'm trying to give them value as well,
Mhm.
and be there for them, and hopefully be in front of them. I go there with the intent, not telling them that I have a buyer, but that I'm going to help them get a buyer.
Right.
Um, and show up and do a video for them, get to know them, set that all up, and I've got some follow-up campaigns that that can go on Zillow and get them leads to their house, and it's just a matter of I have a conversation whether or not they want to follow up with the leads, or do they want me to follow up with the leads. And so I give them a whole lot of information, so basically so I can overwhelm them, so they get overwhelmed and they're like, I can't do this,
Yeah, I'll help
I need
you.
help. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be
Okay.
the one, hopefully be the one that does it. So I do some postcards and calling. I got an 8-week campaign of texting and emails to go out
To the
automatic.
FISBOs and the expires.
Yep.
Okay, so
Every
that's
morning.
part of your lead gen like bucket.
Yep. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so we have a couple different, I'm going to segment you just a little bit because you
Sure,
you have
please.
a lot of ideas and you have a lot of things going on. And so
That's yes.
let's put them into, okay. So you have your past clients,
Right.
right? And
Yes.
right now you have them on HomeBot.
Yep.
And what else are you sending them?
Well, I try and send them market reports for their neighborhood each Wednesday.
Oh
Just
gosh, how many past clients do you have?
I've got, well, my database is 6,000.
Okay.
But I've got, the other ones are from the mortgage company, so they're about 300 just in the past clients. But then
Okay.
I've got buyers too, so that's where I'm
Okay.
trying to.
So all different things. So good. This is good.
Yes,
So
yes,
we're going to get you all straightened out. Is that
yes.
what you're,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
know.
you're
I've
looking
got a
for?
lot of stuff. It's always
Yeah.
been me. Even when I had my mortgage company, I mean, it would be me that did everything and thinking, and I didn't have a
Yeah.
business partner, so it just sometimes you got so many hats.
Yes.
I just, I need somebody to bounce ideas off and reel me in
Yeah.
when I'm, like we're doing now.
Yeah.
Reel me in a
Yeah.
little bit and go, oh, whoa, 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 let's
Yeah.
break
Yeah.
it down. And
Okay. So we have our past clients,
yep,
people that you have done mortgages for, sold houses
yep,
to, anything like that. That's about 300.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. They don't need a market report every week, by the way.
okay.
Just so you know, that's a
I do it
lot
once
of
a month. I'm sorry, I do it once a month.
once a month. Okay. But that's what HomeBot's for.
Okay,
HomeBot's your generated market report that's going to their email that's got phenomenal information, and it shows them that, you know what it shows them, right?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all they need. That's all they need.
okay,
So you can now cut that one off your list, because you're just duplicating what you're already doing and wasting time. Okay.
all right.
Your next bucket that you said you have a database of 6,000. Is that leads that you've gotten, like internet leads?
Yeah, the internet leads, and I was doing a first-time home buyer seminar, so I've got a lot of buyer leads in there.
Okay.
And then there's also in that 6,000, there's some expireds and FISBOs,
Okay.
that kind
Do
of
you
thing.
have them segmented at all, or are they just all dumped into one bucket?
They're not really segmented, but they are tagged.
They're tagged.
So
Okay. So
they
you
they
do,
are
so
tagged.
that's segmented. Okay.
So,
So
but I just don't have, what I'm trying to figure out is what to send them.
yeah. So let's do that. What do we have them tagged? What are the different tags that you have? So you have first time home buyers, or not first time? Yeah, you have first time
Yeah,
home
it's
buyers.
a webinar. Yeah, it's a first time home buyers webinar that I sent to them that they went to.
Okay. So first time home buyers. What else
Yeah.
do we have?
Then we've got the expireds,
Okay.
the FISBOs,
Okay.
and pre-foreclosure. But I haven't really messed with them, but they're in there.
But you have them.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What else do we have? Anything else?
Not really.
That's all of our buckets. Okay. I mean,
That's
that's a
pretty
lot of
much
buckets.
it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Are
just
you
trying to
paying
organize.
are you paying for like any Zillow leads, or do you have any other leads that are automatically coming in, or is everything
Not
being
right now.
generated?
No, I've got no. I mean, I know how to run Facebook leads. I know how to do all that.
Okay.
I just have stopped it because I mean, originally I was giving those leads out to realtors, and they don't do anything with them, and then they tell me my leads suck, but yet I go grab them and then I can close them.
Yeah.
So it's not me. It's 90%
It's
of the time it's usually them, and it's on the loan officer side too. They were the same way. I gave them the same leads that I had, and I closed them, but they couldn't. So it was the training and their experience too. So
Okay. Do you have a team, or is this just you?
it's me and one other person.
Okay. And is that who you're usually referring business to?
Yeah, she's just she's one of the other agents that once I get them signed on the contract, I give it to her and she runs with it.
Okay. So she's kind of an assistant slash
Yeah, so yeah,
partner.
she's still got a license, but she doesn't do a whole lot of business, and the sales manager doesn't know how to generate leads for them. So I was helping her.
Okay. Okay. So you have, which is great because that helps you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
somebody that's good to be able to take some of that business off. Okay. So you're generating all these leads. Who were you hoping to give them to? Like, who were you referring them to?
Just
Or is
most,
that
well, I was giving them to the sales manager as well. And I closed a few with Shar, which is the other realtor but when I gave it to Drew, him and I had a falling out.
okay?
He's the sales manager. He won it. We had some issues. He put some stuff in my rain account that got me fined like $600. And it frustrated me. And he told me he was going to pay for it, yada yada yada. And I went to collect for it. He said he'd pay once I went to collect, just saying, hey, look, they're busting my chops. They need it paid. And He's like, well, I'll pay for half of it. You go find the other half, kind of thing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you're the
Smart.
manager, don't be dirty like that. While
Yeah.
he's closing, he's a good realtor. He's closing 5 or 6 deals a month, and he's nickel and diming us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's
So
yeah.
I had to leave there. So
Scarcity mindset. So are you at a different brokerage, or are you the same
no, I'm
brokerage?
still at the same brokerage. I'm just going to
Okay.
go to another office.
Okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. You do have a lot of things going on. So this is great. You're great at generating business. What is your goal? I mean, I know we have like what we need to do with all this stuff, and we'll talk about that, but what is your goal? What are you hoping? Like, you're really great at generating leads. How many do you want to sell? What do you want to do? What's your long-term plan?
Well, my long-term plan, well, I'd love to be able to close 2 deals a month, just knowing that with a blink of an eye consistently, I can close 2 deals.
Okay.
My long-term goal in the next 2 to 3 years is 48 to 50
Per year.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And what did you do
I've
this
always
last
thought,
year?
huh?
What did you do this last year?
7, 8.
Okay.
I get so focused on lead generating
Yeah.
that I don't go into, I'm thinking they're going to do their job
Yeah.
with the leads I gave them. So they don't. So, and then when I go pick them up, I can close them. So
Okay.
that's where I'm trying to find well, right now I'm just wanting to close myself for Shar and I. I'm not looking to bring a bunch of other people on. I want to focus on getting 2 deals and then building it from there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. And some of your notes that you gave me here about yourself, you said that you loved the lead generation part.
Yeah.
But are you burnt out on the sell? Are you burnt out with the process and what you have going on?
I'm burnt out with the sale. I mean, just having to go deal with the client and going to deal with the other agents.
Okay. So that's the opposite of you wanting to sell 48 to 50 a year.
Well, I mean, with that 48 to 50, that would be included with whoever I'm working with to help with the agents, if that makes sense.
Okay. So
That's
going to
pretty much
include referrals, not just
Yes.
personal.
Yes.
How many?
The
The
two is
two is you
personal.
personally.
2 is personal. And then the other, to build it from there, I'd like to do 1 a week is always what I thought. You know, if I had 1 a week, I mean, a check's coming in each week.
One a week, whether it's you, whether it's Shar.
Yes. Yes.
How many does Shar want to do? What's her capacity?
She's green behind the ear. She's green with it. So she's loving what I'm helping her do. So I haven't asked her. So she's thinking about making a move herself because the manager, she's not liking the manager. So I've got to sit down with her and get her numbers and figure out what she wants to do.
Okay. Yeah, because that's going to be important. What's her capacity? Because you have a lot of data here. Yeah. You have a lot of people you can market to already.
Yep.
Harnessing that can fill this. Yeah. Pretty easily.
I'm thinking so. Like I said, I need some help. I need somebody to go, hey, just like we're doing. Okay, here, this is what you got. Don't cut this off. Don't do this, and, stay consistent with it. And, keep track. The biggest thing is I want to also be able to track all my numbers, the accountability of tracking numbers of what I'm doing. So if I ever want to scale this or just do lead generation, I'm able to say, look, out of 100 leads, you buy 100 leads and you'll get 5 deals out of it.
Gotcha. So you want to really, your secondary plan is you want to build a lead generation business.
Yes.
Yeah. But you have to have proof of concept first that you can make it work before you can do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's start with our proof of concept and what kind of system you want to build.
Okay.
And this might take more than our 30 minutes, but we'll see what we can get.
That's up to you. I mean, if I've got the time, if you've got the time.
Okay. I got a little bit extra time as well. So,
okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I will tell you with your past clients, I can tell you what I do. Okay. You can choose to do what you want to do. I can tell you what I found works very well. My business is 95% referral and repeat.
Awesome.
So I take very good care of my past clients, and in turn, my past clients take very good care of me, and they don't go anywhere else. I don't ever lose them. Yeah. Yes. So honestly, a 300-person database of past clients, depending on how often they decide to move, but if you foster them really well, My database, honestly, out of 800 sales or 700 sales, is still only 250 people.
Wow. Well, see
So,
that also, there's a caveat to it. Those 300, because it was over at, still got my loan officer license too. So
okay.
I was working when I got both. So I got my loan officer license and I went and worked for a bank, and we were working with this database. So there was a senior loan officer ahead of me that was training me. So he let me use his database. So he said, look, I'm a loan officer now. You're a realtor. You can utilize it. So,
So they're not your clients yet necessarily, but
not necessarily. Yeah.
these are
Some of them know me.
homeowners.
Most of them are going to know him
Okay.
before me, because I was on the back end of it. I wasn't really doing a whole lot in the beginning with them.
Okay.
So that's where I wanted to at least give you that information so we can figure out how to,
okay, so let's connect the dots for them. So you put them on HomeBot.
Yes.
Okay, what's your open rate look like?
38%, 40%.
Okay, so it's pretty low. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the steps. I'll just give you some tactical advice.
Sure.
If you put 300 past clients on HomeBot that weren't your clients, if they all weren't your clients, they're probably thinking it's junk mail.
Sure.
Okay. So the first step I would do is you're going to send them an email from your personal email, your business email, but from you personally, to explain what HomeBot is. Okay. What it is, the value you can provide, who you are, how you have their contact information.
I think I've done that before, but it's been a long time.
Okay. So I would revisit that to try to reinvigorate that source, because this is a great source of people. They did have agents though, right? Their agent could also have them on HomeBot. You're not quite sure.
No, I don't. You know what I'm trying to actually do is what I would really like to do is try and get everybody that wants to get the hell off my email list, get them off. I mean, I want to keep them, but if they don't want stuff from me, to unscribe. So,
yeah.
I don't get a bunch of, complaints and that kind of stuff. I want to keep the people that want the information.
Do you have an unsubscribe on your email when you send it out?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you annoy them enough, then they'll unsubscribe. And
okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's in their court. There's nothing else you can really do about that. But okay. So I still would send an email.
Sure.
Reintroduce yourself. Okay. And they have a template. Did you by chance follow the follow-up playbook? Do you have that?
For you?
Yeah.
I think I do.
Okay. If you have the follow-up playbook, inside there is a template for an email.
Okay.
So you can go change it up. I had sent it out in around January is when I'd send mine out. And that's what the template is, but it's just a Word doc template. Take it, twist it a little bit, but really it says, hey, here's this product I have. This is why it's great. This is how often it's coming to your inbox. This is what it looks like. Here's what it provides. HomeBot sends a generic email out when you sign them up. But here's the problem. It's not coming from you. So they'll figure it's spam, right? You've not identified who it's coming from. All of a sudden, they just randomly get this HomeBot email in their email, and they're going to be like, well, what is this?
Right.
So in order to get a higher open rate, you're going to send an email, and this is how you're going to get them off your list if they don't want stuff from you. Okay. You're going to send them an email, use that template, twist it a little bit. But the cool thing about that email is it does say, this is not accurate. If you have questions or want to know the value of your home, you can reply to me anytime.
Okay.
Okay. Then you just leave them on there.
Okay.
Now, separate this into two different buckets. Anyone that you have ever sold to, that's your client, and you need to foster them a lot more. So follow the follow-up plan in that playbook for how to follow up with your clients. Okay. You'll see, I just posted out, I sent out my Christmas gifts to my clients, non-branded Christmas gifts to my clients. And I get the text messages coming in. I get the shout outs on social, like all the stuff, right? Like I can't ever forget you because you always, I take care of them, but I keep in touch with them 3 times a year with some value and with some love. And the more
with your client, your past clients, you do 3 times, touch them 3 times. Is it in the playbook?
It is in the playbook. So that's what the entire playbook will tell you is that's my entire follow-up plan. HomeBot, but you have to send the email ahead of time. Right. So that they know it's coming from you. And if you don't want it, just reply back. I will take you off my list. And then I touch them 3 times a year, twice as branded, Once is unbranded.
And what do you mean by unbranded? You don't even leave a name or nothing?
No, my name is on there, but it's
That's
coming
it.
from me personally that no, yeah, I don't have my logo. I don't have my
Right.
email address. I don't have my phone
Okay.
number, like none of it. It is just like as if they were just a friend. I'm sending them a gift. I sent chocolates this year and that's it. Like
So 2 branded and 1 personal.
one personal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you do anything for closing when they close?
I always do something for closing, but it's not, I don't have a standard because it depends on my client.
Yeah.
So sometimes I buy them a survey because they have to have a survey and it's, it's a hot
Right.
mess. And so I'm out a couple $1,000s fixing their survey issues. Sometimes they get a basket from a local, we have a honey store here. So I like to, I like to support local businesses. So I'll give them something from there. It depends on what they need. Sometimes they need a home warranty. Sometimes they need the toilet fixed, whatever. So I do always do something for my clients. It's just not standard. I usually gauge what's going on with each client and how I can best impact them.
Mhm.
It's kind of like showing up like they say, like the Disneyland ad when people are divorced, right? And you're like, you come in and you save them and you're like the most exciting part of it.
Mhm.
That's what I do with my clients when I close.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not a standard. I don't buy Cutco knives with my name on them. I think it's creepy. I don't want people looking at my name when they're cutting up their bread. I think it's weird. So I do something that's more impactful and helpful to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. So so that's it for my past clients though. I don't make phone calls. I don't do CMAs every week. I don't, or, month, like none of that. They know where to find me if they need me and when they need me. Now I'm in their email every single month and I'm in their mailbox 3 times a year.
Okay.
They can't forget me at all. Okay. So that's it for past clients. But again, you've got past clients here. So this is how I would separate this is anyone that's your client, like that you've actually served, I would mail to them. I wouldn't waste your money mailing to people that were never your client.
Right. You talk about the gifts and stuff?
The gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would not waste money on that. I would just keep this potential list of buyers or sellers on your list on HomeBot.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When I go in and I see, the people that are reading the material, the buyers and the sellers, how do you reach out to them? What do you think I should do? Just to.
Yep. That was actually my next thing we were talking about. So if they are opening, so this is your lowest hanging fruit for potential buyers and sellers at the moment. So the next thing you would do is whoever is opening up, and you can see how many times they're looking at the email, how many times they're clicking, right? I would just send them an email. I wouldn't even call them. I just say, hey, I noticed that you've been, looking around on the HomeBot email. Report. I hope you're loving it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to answer them.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay.
Right. You could throw in, they can see what the rate's doing because HomeBot shows them.
Yeah.
But you could throw in, like, if you have any questions about what current programs there are out there for, I would be careful because you're playing realtor, not lender, but still, like, there's some new things going on to be able to lower the interest rates. This is what's going on in the market.
I could just generically talk about it. I would
generically talk about it.
Specific.
Yeah. And mostly too, because you don't want them to think that that's what you're selling, because you're selling your services, right? And represent them as a buyer seller. So I would talk about that. I would talk about maybe the trend in the market, what's going on, I don't know what's going on. What state are you in?
Virginia Beach.
Okay. So what is your market doing right now?
It's sort of teetering out. It's mellowing. We still have a problem with inventory. Okay,
so still an inventory problem, but are buyers starting to offer less, asking for concessions, buy downs?
Well, the sellers are starting to offer more.
Okay, perfect.
To the buyers, yes.
So that's what you start to say now. Like prices are still high-ish, right? Because if you're marketing to people who are selling, say they are starting to come down. If you want to capitalize on it, now would be a great time. As a buyer, we're starting to see some concessions happening. So this is it's a really great time to buy and sell.
Okay.
Yeah, just feed them a little bit. It doesn't have to be long, a little bit of information. That's how I would follow up with someone who is engaged in HomeBot, and then let them just reply to you. And then the people that reply to you from that, then you take that with them. So that's how you would filter through them. If you have their phone number, you could call them, but honestly, most people are going to check their email.
Yeah.
Most people are,
Okay.
especially if they're checking HomeBot, that means they are checking their email.
Right.
So that's all I would do with that.
Should I text them as well? Hey, I just sent you an email, or just let the email do it?
I just let the email
Okay.
do it. If
Okay.
they don't reply, if you send out the email and they don't reply, then you could.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've done that with, so if you have a database of any clients on searches, do you have a database of that at all? Do you
I
put
have
your
some of them. I have
clients
some
on
of
a
them.
search?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So same thing,
As far
right?
as in HomeBot or somewhere in KV Core?
KV Core or on
Yes.
your
some of them I did.
MLS.
Yeah, some of them I did. Not all of them.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do here, to figure out what I need to do and be
Okay.
consistent with it.
Okay. So we'll go basics with that then. So anyone who is a potential buyer,
Mhm.
I'm going to flip this over here for just a second. So because you have this whole 6,000 person database, like what do we do with all these people is what
Right.
you're asking, right?
Yep.
Okay. So here's what we do. We have our buyers.
Mhm.
We only have 3 buckets of people. Okay. We have buyers, sellers, and we have our online leads. Okay. Now, the reason why I have online as a completely separate category is because if you have a potential or an engaged person who is interested in buying or selling, then your sellers are always going to go on HomeBot if they're not ready quite yet, right? They're always going to go on HomeBot. Your buyers are going to go on a search. Even if they 12 months down the road, even if they if it's under 12 months from when they want to purchase,
Okay.
I make sure I get my buyers on a search.
Okay. So search for 12 months.
If it's under 12 months. Yeah. So they're like, I'm not going to buy till next March. Great. Let's get you put on a search so that you can be able to watch and see what's going on in the market. You can see what kind of homes are coming up in your price range, what it is that you're looking for, so you can get a pulse on the market. Okay. And the reason why we want to do that, you can set it, I'm sure, in your system. You can set it so they receive it once a month or once a week or every day. Ask them, do you want it every day? Do you want it immediately? Do you want it once a month? How often do you want to be notified? And set them up on that search. Okay. I have had clients that have sat on a search. I've had a lead come in. I've set them up on a search. They weren't ready to buy yet. I never talked to them again. 1 year later, I get a phone call that says, hey, there's this house that came up that you sent me. Would you go FaceTime us? And because they were out of state, would you go FaceTime us? And we were interested in it. Sure enough, FaceTime it. Okay, let's write the offer. They bought the house.
Awesome.
Like easy peasy, right? So you let the systems do the work for you. I mean, we still want to engage, but to filter through the people who are actually interested,
right?
This is how we filter through the people who are interested. So same with the HomeBot. Then you follow up with the HomeBot people that are actually engaging in the system, right? To see if they're interested. When it comes to search, I don't know if you one of the things I have in my client management planner, my buyer and seller sheets, the reason why I have those is because it goes through very specifically the questions that you need to ask them. And, oh, by the way, are they added to your database? Are they on a search?
Okay.
So that's how I keep track. If I have someone new that I've talked to, I go through all the questions of the basics, right? Bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, square footage. What do you want? The exact things that you're going to put in your search, the larger parameters.
Yeah.
And then make sure that I'm getting them put on a search.
Okay.
Or into my database. Listings go into my database, which goes into HomeBot as well.
Right.
Buyers, have I set a search for them? Okay. So that's why I created that. That's why I use that. I create it for myself. I just sell it to other people. Okay. So buyers, sellers, online leads. Online leads are the people who have not responded to you. If you have not had a conversation with them, they're going to go in this, and this would be like your KV Core or whatever your CRM. This is CRM people. Okay. So whatever CRM that you like to use, this is going to be your drip emails. Now, I do not put my potential buyers or sellers that I have ever had a conversation with on drip emails. It's annoying. It's garbage. It's spam. That's really what it is. What we're trying to do with the people who haven't responded, which are usually our online leads, right? is get them to engage, get them to respond at least once. So we're letting the system do its job. That's what it's designed for, via text message and emails, to try to get them to respond and say, hey, yeah, raise my hand, I'm interested. And then at that point, you're going to take them and you'll take them out of that system and stick them in one of these two places.
Okay.
Okay. You can, if you have leads in there that are homeowners, also add them to HomeBot.
Right.
Okay. So they will go in there. They will also go in HomeBot.
Okay.
If they are a potential seller.
Potential
Again,
seller?
Potential seller. They have to, because I don't add my buyers into HomeBot.
Oh, you do not?
I do not. If they choose to go into HomeBot, I can. I find that my personal system, so I actually just use my MLS search system. I actually found that even our CRM with our brokerage, I found it doesn't update as quickly as, and it is accurately, right, as what the direct MLS does.
Right.
So I use the direct MLS. It's free, number one. And number two, no one else can steal my database because nobody else can see it but me.
Right.
Right. So if I ever change brokerages, whatever, I still have my database in there of buyers on a search. This is my pot of gold right here, is your buyers on a search. So
in the MLS.
In the MLS.
Okay. So buyers go into the MLS.
Buyers go to MLS on a search. Somebody who created KV Core can yell at me or whatever. I don't care. But I don't use my brokerage site to do searches. And I actually tested that out and found that, especially when the market was going up really quickly, right? They were updating maybe every like 15 minutes. Like, how often is that site refreshing? How often is KV Core or whoever you have them, how often is that refreshing?
Right.
What's not refreshing as quickly as your MLS is. Because on the MLS, the second something goes on the market, an email shoots out to my client that says this house is on the market. And the reason that's so important is because you want to be the holder, the keys to the kingdom, all the information.
Sure.
You don't want them to have gone on Zillow and found out there's a house that doesn't show up on their list. Right.
Okay. Right.
We want them to direct. The other thing is that's a great sales tool, because when I'm selling people and saying, oh, I can, let's get you put on a search, you're going to get the fastest access to every single listing that comes on the market within the criteria that we're specifying. It's a true statement.
I just got to make sure that I get the correct info that they need, that they're looking for, obviously.
Yep. And here's the thing. So yeah, which is the basics, right? It's the basics. Bedrooms, bathrooms, land size, area. It's the basics. So, and you want to keep it kind of broad. Every time you put somebody on a search, you want it a little bit broad, because you don't want them, again, they say, oh, I want something for $350. Well, I'm going to put their price at about $400, sometimes $425 if they say $350, because inevitably they say $350 and then they get back on Zillow and start looking at things that are more expensive. I don't want them on Zillow because they click on something that says, connect me with an agent. They're confused, think it's going to be you, and then you potentially lose the client.
Right.
Yeah. So we want to be the keys to the kingdom. We want everything coming from us. Right.
So no follow-ups. I just want to make sure no follow-ups on the for buyers in HomeBot.
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, you could, if you have buyers that are being active in there, sure, do the same thing. But I don't. I
was just doing it because I had a database and I was just trying to put people in there.
Yeah. So that's fine. So if you have a database and you threw them in there to give them access, and then you see that they're engaging, great. Then you can do the same thing you did with the seller's reply. Hey, I noticed you're engaging. You look at your emails. Do you have questions? Do you want me to get you set up on a more accurate search?
Okay.
It's an excuse, number one, to talk to them. And then the excuse too is, hey, I can get you onto something more accurate. Well, who doesn't want something more accurate?
Yep.
Now you just took them out of your giant pot over here and you have dumped them into something that is a lot more purposeful. And now hey, this is an engaged buyer. This is somebody that's really actually interested. So yeah, so it's not bad. I guess I should take that back. It's not bad if you dumped your database into the buyer portal. But
I didn't do all of them. I haven't done all of them.
Okay. I mean, go for it. Dump them in there. If this is your 6,000 person database and you haven't talked to these people,
Well, I mean, it costs
throw 'em in
money.
there.
It costs money each time you put a certain amount in there. You can't just fill them up,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yes, 100%.
So
So it's up to you. Some of my sellers, they'll go create their own buyer profile. And then I notice they'll start in HomeBot, they'll start to create their own buyer profile and start
Okay.
searching in there. Then again, you know that they're engaged. We're just sifting through people in a more accurate way to see who's actually interested.
Sure.
And HomeBot's the best program that I found to do that.
Okay.
But it's also, it delivers so much more value than just our drip emails, which come out of our CRM. This is junk email to me. But for people who don't respond to us, great. Let's give them some junk email till they raise their hand and say, hey, I'm kind of interested.
So do you on the CRM, do you want me to send direct email to them?
Into your CRM? You totally can. It's up to you, but this would be.
Do you send a direct email? I mean, do you have a follow-up email for with the online leads for like buyers? I mean,
so the CRM that I use has all of that built in, and it's very personable. The way that it's written, like it's coming from me. So I say yes. I don't go directly email them. I don't have time. Let's say that.
So I mean, it's an automated, but it's more
automated,
personal.
But it's personal. So it's not, you know, when Allstate sends me an email and says, you know, thank you for being our customer, and you know, make sure you get your oil changed, whatever. I'm like, yeah, thanks for the automated email. So whatever you're using, hopefully you can customize it. I'm sure you can customize it so it's your word, so it's coming from you. That's going to be the most effective follow-up email sequence that you've got, is that. So email and text sequence. Just make sure what you're using is working good.
Now I sort of fibbed to you.
Okay.
I forgot. I had bought a thing called what is it? It's a ISAs. It's just text based. So when these leads are coming in, they're reaching out to them.
Okay.
So what I was planning on doing, especially with these online leads over here, is I'm just going to start on a daily basis, just 10 a day, just to try and wake them up, just to say, hey, are you still interested? You know.
Tell me how the people are coming into your world. How you said they're coming in. The leads come in, and the ISA
these are old ones. These are just old ones. The only new fresh things that are coming in right now are the FSBOs, the expireds, and the off market. That's the only leads. That's the only leads I buy right now.
And you're buying the leads.
Yeah.
And are you paying a lot for those?
I think it's like $80 a month.
Oh, okay, so it's not very much. And my FSBOs, you can go look. Most of the time, they're on Zillow.
Yeah, I've got a postcard, an 8-week follow-up postcard that I go through Trulia, so I can track them through there. So I send eight postcards once a week out to them.
Okay. Here's my question for you. What is your return on investment for that? What's your conversion rate for those?
I just started. Literally just started.
So pay close attention to your conversion rate.
Yes.
Okay. Because what we don't want to do is create a job for ourselves. Right. Like we don't want to just make ourselves busy doing something that's not giving us a return on investment. So the best work that I found, I'll just tell you what I like for me, right, is any personal touch that you can be able to have with someone. So that's why setting the extra email out here, like connecting with people, sure, we still have them on HomeBot, something that's providing value, but we are connecting personally with them. That's going to get you the farthest, the fastest.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
so
I didn't, but I saw, well, that's why I want to talk with you as far as what you do with your FSBOs and expireds.
I call them 100%.
So that's all you do?
I don't pay for leads. So, I mean, there's FSBOs on Zillow. There's FSBOs when I drive around town and I see a sign.
Right.
So I pull over, snap a shot of the house, snap a shot of the sign, go home. I look up the information, see what they have to sell, right? Like what the stats are on it. And or not the stats, but the basic information on it. I'll pull up some quick comparables if I know what the price is, see where they're listed. I do my homework first, because then when I call them, I have some ammunition. My ammunition is, hey, you know, if I don't know what they're asking for their house, then I can ask them at that point, you know, how much are you asking for your home? And I always identify myself, you know, I'm Lisa, Hunter Homes. How much are you asking for your property? I do have clients in that price range. And can I come take a look at it? I'd love to take a tour of your house if I could.
Yeah.
That gets you in the door, gets you meeting them face to face. Because once you meet them face to face, it's easier to start having a relationship.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do. With the FISBOs, I'm trying to get a preview appointment. I'm trying to get in the door.
So just call them.
Okay.
Don't send them 8 postcards. Just call them.
Well, I also remember, I do call and text them too.
Yeah. I just call and try to get a hold of them and have a conversation.
Okay. All right. So you don't think the postcards is worth it?
I don't want postcards in my inbox, but whatever. I mean, that's me. I don't do anything that I just throw away.
Right.
Like
Okay.
I get mail. I will tell you right now, I have one brokerage that continues to send me stuff every single week. And I just keep thinking, garbage, quit wasting your postage, quit wasting your postage. What would be the difference if that brokerage called me and tried to have a conversation? Totally different result, right?
Right.
Not that I leave where I'm at, but I'm just saying, like, if I were susceptible to leaving where I was at, a phone call would go over so much better than, hey, you're not really worth a phone call, but I'm going to go ahead and send you some mail. I'm going to send you some pre-pinched postcards that everyone else in the world is sending you as well. Or wait a minute, let me have my inside sales agent call you and try to book an appointment with you because I'm too fancy to book an appointment with you myself. Do you see how that is received a little bit different? Okay,
Yep.
so that's why I say, see what your conversion's like. But for me, I'm like, I go straight to the source. Here's the person, and this person needs help. How can I help this person? Right. So when I go show up to their house and we have a conversation, and the conversation is, hey, like, what's, you know, so what's going on in your world? What's your experience been like? Be curious. Like, you've had your house up for sale for how long? What's that been like? How many showings have you had? Start asking all the questions that we would ask ourselves if we had something that didn't sell, right? Is your price too high? Is it too low? Well, here's some information I can be able to give you if you're interested. Like, this is what I found out about your house. You don't have to hold the information or not give them pricing information because you're afraid they're going to use it against you or just go take it and do it themselves. Some people will do that, and that's fine. Most of the time, they're like, man, I'm overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, look at this person who's willing to give me free information without making me sign a contract to do so.
Right.
When they want help, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call the person that gave them value and information. They're not going to call the person who just sent them a postcard.
Right.
But that is
and I am starting to go back out on preview appointments to talk with them. I'm trying to get my foot in the door. Yeah, I mean, I want to talk to them. I mean, the first person there and talking to them, I'm pretty good with face to face and, you know, talking and breaking the ice, you know.
And the thing is, so like your plan, if you're like, okay, I burn out with like the transaction process, right? Like, I love to generate, I love the pursuing and catching the lead. Like, if that's the part that you like, then that's great. And you want to try to get to, you know, 48 to 50, and you want to feed Shar some business, and right, that's great. So get out and do a little bit more of the face-to-face, pull in those leads and get yourself to this number. In the meantime, if you want to continue to try your postcards and try the other stuff as that secondary, hey, I want to kind of try to create a lead generation business, then still do that in the background. See what works.
Sure.
See if this is going to be working for you. If it works and there's a way to figure it out. People do it all the time. It's just not my cup of tea because I have so many hours in my day.
Sure.
So if I have so many hours in my day and I want to go make $1 million a year selling real estate, I don't want to waste my time with all this the job duties. I'm going to get out and be like, oh, here's a person that wants to buy or sell a house. I'm on that. I'm going to go talk to that person, right? Because that's the fastest way to get me my money. It's the fastest way to get me a sale.
Gotcha. Now, what do you do for expired? Same thing, just call them up?
Same thing. But before you call them, do 15 minutes of research to find out, why did they expire? Did their presentation suck? Was it a price problem? Was it an agent problem? Because you know that agent doesn't answer their phone.
Right.
Like, what was the problem with that listing? Why didn't it sell? Did they start way too high and now they reduced, but they didn't reduce quick enough? They can't keep up with the market reductions that are happening. What? Did their description just absolutely suck?
Right.
Good possibility. You know, I had a property. When you get into my trainings, I've got examples of all these, but I had a property. It was a $800,000 property. There was nothing wrong with the price. They'd sat on the market for over 6 months. They'd had 2 showings. There was nothing wrong with their price. You know what was wrong with it is it was a 15-acre property, beautiful property, great house, wonderful shop. They didn't highlight the house. They highlighted the fact that you could get close to the river and go duck hunting. Like, what the crap kind of marketing is that, right? Because that agent came in and thought, oh, well, this is what I would use the property for. So that's what we're going to market it for. And they niched themselves down to not finding anyone interested.
They shrunk the people.
They shrunk the buyer pool because they were predetermining who they thought would buy that house. That's not our job to predetermine who's going to buy that house. It's our job to showcase the house the best way possible. I took that property. I had them clean out a few things in the house, not much, but a little bit, because it made some space look too small, and stuck that sucker back up for sale with my professional photos from my photographer and my description that was phenomenal. And sure enough, within a month, we had an offer, full price cash. And they've been on the market for 6 months, right? Totally different experience. It wasn't a price problem. So when I call an expired, maybe it is a price problem. I've had expireds where their price was too low. And I'm like, you really could get more money for this. You have a presentation problem. My presentation kicks butt. I can help you, right? And I can get you more money. Now, how much better a pitch is that than a postcard? Oh, you're expired. Would you like to list your house with me? Which is what most agents are taught to say.
Right.
Here, let's call the expireds. Here's the expired list I bought. Let's just call them. But if you don't do your research ahead of time to find out why did they expire in the first place, you're not providing any value to the client.
Now, can you get that information previous to talking to them?
Yeah, you look on your MLS. It's under, they're expired. You can look at the old listing. Yeah. Okay. You just look at the old listing. You don't pay for anything. You can look every single day to see what properties, search by expired, put your date range in there. I'm sure your MLS does it as well. Put your date range in there, see what expired today.
Right.
Wake up first thing in the morning. What expired today? If that's what you want to hit on. Put Shar doing it. Teach her how to do it. Have her take the class. Teach her how to do it. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah. I have an expired listings playbook, $39. Teach her exactly what to do. She can generate her own leads. Expire. It's an expired listings playbook.
Oh, that's right. And you got a FSBO too.
I got a FSBO too. Teaches you how to prepare to add value to that client, what you're looking for, what you want to research right before you call them, the process of what do you say when you call them, having a natural, personable conversation.
The way I was getting ready to do it was I have a video that I was sending to them just to give, if they wanted to watch the video. Some people like to watch a video, but it just tells them that I'm able to help them get a buyer, and the reason why I'm trying to get them a buyer. I'm not there to, be a seller. I'm trying to get you a buyer, and why we can work, together. But it explains that to them a little bit. So I didn't know if that would work.
How's the conversion on it? Have you done it yet?
Haven't done it yet.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Test it out. But try to call them first. I would use the video as they didn't answer my call. Now send them the video. So I wouldn't have that be your first line of defense.
Okay.
I would have the actual phone call and try to have that human touch first.
Gotcha.
If you can't get a hold of them, great. Go ahead and then send them the video as a backup. And then they might warm up to you, and then they can make sure you give them some sort of call to action, which says, here's where you can get a hold of me, or like, I'd love to chat with you. I have time. Call me anytime. That open-ended invitation.
Right.
You need to have some sort of call to action on that. But I want to get to the goal the fastest.
Sure.
And the fastest way to get to the goal is just talk to the person.
Okay. Don't be afraid to call them.
No, I mean, because you're calling to help them. Think about it. Here's this person that's for sale by order expired, right? Those are very low hanging fruit because you know that they want to sell their house.
Right.
So what was their experience? Are they frustrated? Did you have people come look at your house? Like what happened when you were listed for 6 months or a year or even 3 months?
Does your book have that kind of questions?
No, so the book is just to, when I call, let's say like a for sale by owner, and I have a conversation with them, I will fill out my listing. It's got a listing. So this is just, the client management is just listings and buyers.
Right.
So this is just a place for me to house the information so I
Right.
can keep track of who I talk to.
Sure.
Because then, so if I'm going to do research on a property, I'll write it
Right.
down on here. I got all the basic info. I have a place to put my comps, so I know what comps I used, so I can always reference back to that. It's so I don't lose information, because I used to have sticky notes in way too many places in my car. There's one time I pulled over at the gas station and I emptied out stuff in my car, and then I went back because I threw something away that was important. I dig through the stank and trash trying to find it. Place to keep notes, right? A place to know if I need to follow up. You can definitely use some sort of like online system. For me, I'm so sick of my phone by the end of the day. I don't want more computers. I don't want more phones.
Right.
Plus, if I'm on my phone having a conversation, I need a place to write. So
Right.
that's why I use the written planner, because if somebody calls me and I'm driving, maybe against the law, I don't know, but hands free, but I will legit, like on my console, take a few notes, get their contact information, like what time to call them, write a little note when they call me. So that's just a place for me to not lose everyone's information, and then to know what to do with them. And if they're a high level, like if they're interested, what their interest level is. Because I've got timelines on there too. Like, what's your timeline? Do you need to sell now? Do you want to sell in a year? Like, what's your situation? And just asking those questions. So the trainings will give you all those questions to ask as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do you think we go from here? What's your thought? I mean, I know I've got stuff I got to do that you told me to do. I got to do that.
Yeah. So I would start there. I think that your first goal, because you're a visionary, right? Like you have larger dreams, you have larger things that you can see the capability of, like the processes that you're coming up with. But I would dial yourself back, because you need to make it work first, before you expand. So making it work first looks like you closing 2 a month and total the 48 to 50 with Shar closing. I don't know what you want to charge her, if you want to charge her 50% or 25% or whatever type of referral fee you want to charge her, 35%.
Right.
It has to work for her too.
Sure.
But it has to work for you too, right?
Sure.
The other thing that you can do is, if you, and this is something I do, you can hire a licensed assistant or pull her in if she wants to assist you in things, and pay her a certain amount to do that. So I pay my licensed assistant, who is, I pay her, well, let's see, how do I say this? She does a lot of other things for me. But I licensed her so she could open doors for me, so she can help do documents for me. So I have a listing going up. If it's somebody that's not one of my, even if it's one of my past clients, she'll call, do all the listing paperwork over the phone with them, send the docs out to be signed.
Right.
If I have a listing coming up, she prepares all the paperwork. I don't have to even prepare. I go look at the house. I talk to the people. I take the phone calls, right? I do the stuff that I love to do. Paperwork is not my jam. I don't love it. I don't love to sit and spend hours doing paperwork. I used to stay up till midnight catching up on paperwork. Days are gone that I'm doing that, because that was
that's what I'm trying to figure out. What I want to, where I want to, what I'm good at, and then what I can delegate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. So do you have like a checklist of what you give in one of your books for your assistants and stuff, or no?
Inside my trainings, I do have a class that I taught about assistants. So inside my Kickstart business, I do.
Is that the monthly?
Or so my Agent Leader Academy has every training I've ever taught. So there's like 150, it's searchable. You can pick anyone, right? But I did teach on assistants in there, the different kind of categories of assistants you can get. Because you got your TC type of assistants, which I don't love, because I don't feel like they drive me crazy actually. But I like to know what's going on with my transactions. I like my people to know that I'm the point person, because that fosters relationships. But if I need my assistant to go show a house for me because I'm unavailable, or I got 2 people going to look on one day, or the paperwork part of things, like that's her jam. She loves doing the paperwork for me. So that's what I have her do. So I do go through that in that training. Your homework, I would say, is you now know that you've got different categories that you need to put your people into and what you need to do with each of them.
Yep.
I would not get yourself too far ahead. Like, know what your next goal is going to be, but your first assignment is going to be, you got to get yourself closing 2 a month.
Right.
So that would be goal number 1. So how do you close 2 a month? You're going to do that by first, our lowest hanging fruit, which is our past clients, right? And then you go into the database of people. So I would start siphoning people into the different buckets, the different places, and then following up with them based on who's like the open rates, who's opening things. That's what I would start doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you can do that. And I would spend time every week. If this was me, I would spend time every week doing that, because just once a week, you need to touch base with them. Not often, right? If they're opening their email on HomeBot, they only open it once a month. So that's a once a month touch, really.
Right.
If you have people that are on a search, then it's a once a week or once every couple of weeks. It just depends on how hot of a lead they are. What's their timeline? Right. Ask them their timeline.
Sure.
How often do you want me to check in with you?
Okay.
Then you write it down. Then okay, this person I need to check in with once a week. This person, it's once a month. Right. And then you're starting to like categorize the people more accurately than a 6,000 person database that's just blanketly in HomeBot or blanket on the CRM, and you don't know what to do with them. You have great data that you don't need to actually go get more data right now, right?
That's why I start with all the Facebook stuff. I don't have a lead issue. I have a conversion issue.
Yes. So stop generating leads.
Yes.
For the moment. And I would not turn on your lead generation again until you can inventory who's actually a potential buyer seller in the inventory that you already have.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then when you run out of, okay, you know what, nobody's interested right now out of 6,000 people or 300 of these clients that you have in this database, no one's interested in buying or selling right now, then you turn on your lead gen. Then you're going to start calling your FSBOs. Then you're going to start calling your expireds, like all of those things.
Okay.
If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I need. I need somebody just to keep me on the straight and narrow, and rein me in. Now, you said you have an agent academy, right?
So it's Agent Leader Academy, Road to 100K. It has got, so I coach once a week.
Okay.
That's a group coaching program, but it also has all my fundamentals in it. So it's got your Kickstart business growth in it. It's got every past training that I've taught. So you get access to the vault of trainings. So, I mean, I go through, inspection issues, appraisal issues, just all the tactical things, growth things. If you're trying to build a team, if you want to hire an assistant, all the parts of the business, because I do the business. I've been doing the business, right? So it's all that shared knowledge. Everything is in there. Plus I teach live once a week. So you have the opportunity to ask these kinds of questions or what's going on. New topic every week. We do some like personal growth as well, because sometimes we have issues with, like getting ourselves a little too far ahead of where we're going. Well, why are we getting too far ahead? Right. So we can identify that so that we can become better and we grow as a person, because that flows over into us growing in our business as well. Yeah. So some of that. I'm actually starting, I haven't even announced it yet, but I'll tell you. We are supercharging in 90 days starting January 4th. So as part of that program, we are leveling up. We're doing a higher level of mastery in, buyers, sellers, all the areas for 12 weeks. A lot of accountability, a lot of pushing. I pretty much told my agents that are in there right now, Mike, you're either going to fish or cut bait, man. Like you're either going to make this work in your business and you're going to explode and grow, or you need to go get a different job. Right. I mean, that's what we're doing starting January. It's like you make this business work, and in 90 days, if you can't make the business work with everything that I'm giving you, you have a problem. Right. So we either need to work on your mind or whatever, but we're going to be pushing very hard in that group. That is part of the $279 a month. Okay. It's all included. Okay. So, and it's an awesome program. I made some tweaks to it. You can either pay $3,000 up front or $279 a month for 12 months. But once you've paid for it, you're in for life. Okay. So then you can always pop in and out for coaching anytime you need.
What would you suggest for Shar? I
would suggest she gets into the program. Is she new?
She's been doing a couple years.
Yeah, but not making money.
No, because she doesn't. She knows how to do the first company she went to was Zillow, and she got tired of with the Zillow lead. So her friend, which is the manager that nobody likes, unfortunately, she's trying to leave him because he's not, all he does is talk about sphere of influence, and
Yeah.
that's all he knows.
Yeah. So
So,
it's not a brokerage problem. Brokerages can't solve our problems.
right,
You could be at any I had a brokerage that taught me nothing.
right,
Great man, love him to death, taught me nothing. Right. It's not a brokerage problem, it's an us problem.
right.
So for $279 a month, I can teach her everything that she needs to know. If she's going to survive and she's going to go implement, she will thrive. Anyone who implements just does everything. I will give you the words, I'll give you all the stuff, but I teach you how to do it and think through it. I don't do scripts. I don't do this is how we manipulate people. That's not how I teach. I teach how do we have the relationships, but how do we serve? How also do we provide value to our clients so that you can have a 95% repeat and referral business rate? I don't market. I haven't marketed for 5 out of my 8 years.
That's awesome.
Selling 100 units a year. I don't market. I don't need to.
Right.
It's that impactful, right?
Awesome.
And it has to do with so inside there too. I mean, it's everything from start to finish. It's my entire business plan, what I continue to rinse and repeat in my own business, how I handle my transactions, my listing process, everything. It's all there. So yeah, best deal ever.
Okay. I will, I'll talk with her and see what, I'll send, where should I send her to just get some information about you? Just
agentleader.com.
Agentleader.com.
Yep. And I don't have the supercharge in 90 days up yet. That's going to be up this next week, but it is going to be part of the Agent Leader Academy Road to 100K.
Okay.
I want my agents making money.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Do you see me being able to build a business where I don't have to go out and after I start to get to the 2 eventually, where I don't have to do any of the, just basically be the rainmaker?
Yeah, 100%. You're going to have to build a team at that point. There's a couple different ways you can do it. So either there's some people who build the team and they keep 50% and give 50%, whatever you choose to do, it has to be worth your time and worth their time.
Sure.
In order for you to retain people, it has to be worth both theirs, or you hire people and you pay them, base plus some commission or whatever, however you want to structure it. So it's completely possible, but you have to be able to say, I can do it. This is how I did it. And have that conversion process in place first. And you're kind of putting the cart before the horse, where I understand where you want to go, but you have to have that proof of concept first before you can hire other people and say, yep, this works. Here's exactly what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. That's where I finally look, I'm tired of giving all my leads and all my money away with you telling me you're going to be able to close these deals and they're not.
Yeah.
And then I just look, I got to start closing deals myself, and then that'll prove the concept, and then nobody can take that away from me. The concept's proven.
Yes. Well, and when you get to too many, I will get to too many, and I just refer them out to people, even in my brokerage, and charge them 25%.
Right.
That's what I do. So if I'm like, you know what, I'm full, my board is full, I'll have 25, 30 things pending at one time. I'm like, here you go, take it. This is not a past client. I'm going to charge you 25%, and they're more than happy to take the business, right? But I will only give it to people who I know will convert. Right.
Well, that's that with the new coming, because there's a lot of new things, some moving parts, me moving over to a new office. The 2 people that own that office, they know about that I'm able to lead gen, and they were thinking, that I just turn on the Facebook ads, send all them the leads, and then they got 140 agents underneath them. So they just take the leads and stay on top of them and train them the whole 9 yards, and I get 35%. I don't really have to do anything but just run the ads.
Yeah, so, as long as there's a way to track that.
Yeah.
As long as there's a good way to track that. And if you're great at ads, a lot of people aren't great at ads.
Right.
So if you can get the leads coming in, but again, there's an entire process that needs to be built out. If you're going to have a lead from an ad come in, what does that look like once you get it, so that you can nurture them to conversion?
Right.
Right. So
that's what I need to get from them.
That's what you need to get, or build so that you have that process too. Okay. Either way. I will tell you that stay tuned, because that nurture to conversion is coming up in a conference that we're having this year.
Okay.
That's about all I can say at the moment, but
What does that mean? Nurturing the conversion. What does that mean?
because
What do
we
you
have
mean?
everybody gets online leads, right?
Right.
And a lot of times they're garbage.
Yeah.
And so that whole process to nurture them to conversion, like
Right.
what do our ads look like, and honing that in a little bit so that you are getting a little bit more high quality leads coming out of them.
Right.
But then also, what does that nurture? What does that email sequence look like so that you can be able to nurture them to actually respond and have a higher conversion rate off of your online marketing?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You do video at all? You do a lot of video?
For my
You do.
clients?
Yeah. I mean,
Or
well, you don't know because you don't do lead conversion. Never mind. Yeah.
no,
I
I mean,
answered my own question.
yeah. I don't, I mean, you can, I don't know. I don't do anything I wouldn't want. So if you are going to have email follow-ups going out, sticking a bonbon video in there or something is great, because that does get somebody to see you. Right. So yeah, I mean, I think that's phenomenal. If someone doesn't answer their phone and they encourage us to send a text video to them, I'm like, that's creepy for me. I don't want someone sending me a text video if I don't even know you. So, but that again is me. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. But I know it works for some people. I'm just not the type of high pressure salesperson, I guess.
Right.
That pushes that
And
way.
I mean, I used to be. I'm getting older in age, and I don't have that fire in my belly like I used to.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've got my son, and I'm trying to stay in the house or just work out of the house to be able to, get him through school. And I'm a single dad, so I'm trying to figure out all this myself. So so I'm able to be there for him as well. So
Yeah.
I got a lot in my head. I just need to, like we did today, just break it down and
yeah.
just be consistent with it.
Get it out. And just know that all those aspirations and ideas, keep a place and write them down.
Right.
Like if you're like, oh, in the future, I want to do this. In the future, I want to do this. But don't pull yourself away from, but first I have to do that. Like you need to do this first, right? Because you can't move on to the next one until the first one's working.
Okay.
And I think that's what you've been doing, is you're kind of here and there, and we're kind of all over. And I'm really great at lead genning, so let's get more leads in and let's do this. But it's none of it's working all the way.
Right.
So let's get one to work first.
Let's
and
get
make
one
some money.
Close to money. Yeah, get some money.
I got to make some money, right?
Yes.
Be good at that part, because that makes you a better person and a better agent too, and a better teacher and a trainer and a lead. If you're going to end up having a team or whatever, and then you're going to start giving them the business, and they're like not converting. Well, why aren't you converting? So to just saying like, oh, you suck and take the leads back, you're not converting. Okay, let's figure out why you're not converting. What are you saying? What does your follow-up look like? What are you doing with it? Because now you know how to make it work, because you did it yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Then you start compounding the dollars.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll get with Shar, and then we'll figure out, I'll get this in place. And then when do you think, I mean, anytime, just if I want to start with the 279, just go in there now, or should I put this stuff in place first and then eventually do
I would get right in there right now. There is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. Well, and like I said, I'm here for all my agents. We've got a private community group too, so you can ask questions anytime. I give daily updates. It is when I'm training, I teach marketing. I teach all the different things, but we're also like up to date with what's going on in the market and how we're handling what's going on. So if we do have a for sale by owner and you had a conversation and it bombed or it did really well or whatever, right? I can help move you through any of that. So yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to order your book we were just talking about to keep the leads.
So hang tight, because you get a coupon code when you buy into the program. You'll get a coupon code right away that will get you one for free.
10-4. All right. And then if I do the 279, does it come with the FSBO and the expireds and the probate? Don't you do probate too?
I don't do probate. I don't have a class on probate. No, it does not. So those are separate marketing. It was a marketing class I taught last year, but they're only $39 a piece. So any of the ones that you want, if you go to my website, there's on the main page, you can find them. So pick any of the ones that you need.
So those are, besides the my past clients. Do you agree with the FSBOs and the expireds?
On what you're doing with them?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, going after them. I mean,
Oh,
that's a low.
100%. That's the
Okay.
lowest hanging fruit right now out there.
Is
So
there anything
it's-
else you can think of?
It's not going to take you very long to get things organized, really, to
Right.
get everybody in the right bucket, right? It's not
Right.
going to take you that long to do that. I would set aside some time every week because you're not going to just want to work on that all week long. I would set aside some time to call your FSBOs, call your expireds. Like I would still call some of those every single week because
Sure.
right now those are very low hanging fruit. Yeah.
And they're starting to need us now because the markets, they're
100.
starting to need us a little more, in my
Yes.
opinion. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I taught that FSBO and expired class, marketing class. I taught those back in May so that
Okay.
we were prepped. And the funny thing is you start looking at Inman articles and whatever, and they start coming out with, oh, FSBOs in like September. I'm like, now we were ready because I
Right.
knew what was, I still sell. I
Right.
still sell 80 units a year while I'm coaching. Right. So I know what's going on in the market and I teach that so we are prepared so that you
Right.
know what to hit next. What's
Okay.
going to be the fastest win for you as long as you go and apply it.
Is there any other, is there anything else besides the database, but expired FSBOs, anything else you got? That
No.
was it. That's pretty
I
much
would,
it.
yep. Yeah, I would start
Awesome.
there. Work on getting some conversions off that and
Yeah.
call
Perfect.
till you win.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I will get with Shar and then get this rocking and rolling.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That'd be great to have you both and take care of helping your system and all that good stuff all along the way. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
I'm glad we got to meet up. Thank you,
Yes,
Kevin.
thank you.
Bye.
Take care
Bye.
now.